Bonnie Parker and Clyde Barrow. Two names forever etched in the pages of American history as symbols of rebellion, crime, and tragic romance. Their story is one of passion, violence, and notoriety during the dark days of the Great Depression. But their legend truly culminates in their final hours, a tense and fateful end to one of the most infamous crime sprees of the 20th century. By the spring of 1934, Bonnie and Clyde had been on the run for over 2 years. Their gang had dwindled, many members captured or killed, one celebrated by some as modern-day Robin Hoods. They had long since lost their heroic sheen. The public had grown weary of the bloodshed, and law enforcement was determined to bring their reign to an end. On May 21st, Bonnie and Clyde drove through Louisiana, unaware that betrayal was waiting for them. A man named Henry Methvin, a fellow criminal and sometimes ally, had struck a deal with law enforcement. If he helped deliver Bonnie and Clyde, his own charges would be lessened. His father, Ivy Methvin, played a critical role in the setup. Lawmen planned to use his broken-down truck on a rural road as bait. Bonnie and Clyde were heading toward the Methvin farm that morning, a place they trusted. Clyde was behind the wheel of their stolen Ford the Fifth 8 sedan, the car he adored for its speed and power. Beside him, Bonnie sang softly, flipping through a notebook where she often scribbled her poetry. They were weary, constantly moving, always watching the horizon for danger, but there was still a strange calm between them that morning. What they didn't know was that 6 heavily armed officers, Frank Hamer, B.M. Manigault, Bob Alcorn, Ted Hinton, Henderson Jordan, and Prentice Oakley, were waiting in ambush. These men had been trailing the couple for months, piecing together their movements, learning their habits. And now, hidden among the trees and brush near Sales, Louisiana, they were ready to end it. As the sun rose higher, Clyde spotted the familiar truck blocking part of the road. Thinking nothing of it, he slowed the car. In that moment of hesitation, the officers opened fire. Prentice Oakley pulled the trigger first, hitting Clyde instantly. His foot slammed down on the accelerator, but he was already dead. Bonnie screamed as bullets ripped through the car, shattering glass and tearing into metal. The ambush lasted less than 20 seconds, but in that brief time, over 130 rounds were fired. By the time the smoke cleared, Bonnie and Clyde's lifeless bodies slumped inside the riddled Ford. Bonnie's head rested gently against Clyde's shoulder, as though even in death, she sought comfort in him. News of their deaths spread like wildfire. Locals rushed to the scene, tearing pieces of clothing and hair as souvenirs. Reporters and photographers swarmed, capturing haunting images of the bullet-ridden car and the bodies inside. The lawmen stood grimly, knowing they had just ended an era of terror, but also understanding they had killed 2 young people whose lives had become larger than life itself. In the days that followed, Bonnie and Clyde's funerals drew massive crowds. Thousands came to glimpse the outlaws one last time, though they were never buried together. As Bonnie's family refused Clyde's request, their legend has kept them side by side in memory ever since. Their final hours, calm moments on a country road, a sudden eruption of violence, and an ending written in blood, became the stuff of legend. To some, they remain ruthless killers. To others, tragic lovers caught in a desperate era. But one thing is certain. The story of Bonnie and Clyde lives on, forever frozen in those fatal moments on May 23rd, 1934.